Hello, grade 10 learners! Welcome to our class. My name is Sharma Ajo. I am here to help you with your ADM's Quarter 1 Week 3 lesson. Before we proceed, I want you to remember that at the end of our lesson, you are able to review the terms related to the elements of the story and identify the author's purpose. Let us begin. When you talk about a film you have watched, there is always a storyline creatively written by its writer. This storyline is made up of different elements that coherently keep the story together. Let us review some of these elements. The first is characters. In every story, there are different types of characters: the protagonist and the antagonist. Protagonists are the leading characters or one of the major characters in a drama, movie, novel, or other fictional text. Antagonists, a person who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something, an adversary. In some stories, you also see supernatural beings, animals, or even inanimate objects as characters. Related to this element is the term characterization. This is the process by which a writer reveals the personality of a character. There are two types of characterization. First is direct or explicit characterization. This describes the character through their physical description, line of work, or passions and pursuits. For example, the dialogue, "Michelle has always been a smug, wicked princess," is an explicit characterization. The second is an indirect characterization. This describes a character through the thought, actions, speech, and dialogue. It relies on the reader to discover what the character is like. Example, you could write your character was rude or show your character blowing cigarette smoke in another character's face. The second one is the setting. Setting can be a combination of the place of occurrence, the time in which the event takes place, a historical period, and even the weather described in the story. Some are specific, like Mount Olympus, where gods and goddesses from Greek mythology are seen, while others are descriptive, such as a ship on its maiden voyage in the ocean. Last but not the least is the plot of the film. Without the plot, there is really no story to be told. The plot is the story sequence where the characters systematically place their roles. It is also where the setting acts as supporting elements in the development of the story. A plot has a beginning, middle, and end, with all the necessary descriptions called exposition, so that the viewer can make sense of the action and follow the storyline. This is where another important element appears: the conflicts. This refers to the struggle between opposing forces in a story. Type to film genres. Film genre is the term categorizing a film based on some stylistic criteria. From there, subgenres are developed. Here are the basic film genres. The first one is the comedy. Comedy is generally meant to make people laugh. Its subgenres include slapstick comedy and romantic comedy. The second is the horror. It aims to evoke viewers' nightmares, fears, and terrors of the unknown. Its subgenres include zombie horror and folk horror. The third is action. This has tremendous impacts, continuous high energy, lots of physical stunts, and activity. Some of its subgenres are war and military action, spy and espionage action, martial arts action. The fourth is the sci-fi. Sci-fi uses visionary, fictional science-based depictions through fanciful imaginative settings. Some of its subgenres are space travel, time travel, robot and monster films, and alien invasion. The fifth is romance. The plot revolves around the love of its main characters, such as courtship, forbidden love, or love triangles. Its subgenres include historical romance, romantic drama, romantic comedy, and chick flick. The sixth is thriller. Thriller induces strong feelings of excitement, tension, suspense, and other similar emotions. Some of its subgenres are conspiracy thriller, crime thriller, and spy thriller. The seventh is drama. Drama is a serious presentation or stories with settings or real-life situations that portray realistic characters in conflict with either themselves, others, or forces of nature. Its subgenres include political drama, romantic drama, and melodrama. And eighth is fantasy. Fantasy is a film genre that most likely overlaps with the sci-fi and other genres, but it bases its content on some degree of scientific truth, fairy tale experiences, and mystical beings. General purposes of the author. What could be a screenplay writer's purpose in scripting a story for a film? To entertain and to inform. To entertain means when an author's purpose is to entertain the reader, they will endeavor to keep things as interesting as possible. They amuse their readers. Things happen in books that are written to entertain, whether in the form of an action-packed plot, inventive characterization, or sharp dialogue. Another is to inform. This means when an author is to inform, they usually wish to enlighten their readership about a real-world topic. Often, they will do this by providing lots of facts. For example, documentary films often feature biographies of well-known personalities like civil rights leaders, president of a nation, or even an ordinary individual who made an extraordinary contribution to the welfare of the society. Let's go to a look at a movie scene. On a deeper perspective, however, a writer might want to evoke a certain emotion from the viewers. For example, a scene in the movie Dead Poets Society. Keating, the teacher, was fired from his job because one of his students died and he was blamed. Like other films, the setting plays an important role in communicating the writer's purpose. This is because it serves to anchor the story plot and characterization of actors. In other words, it gives context to the film. This particular scene in Dead Poets Society utilizes the classroom that symbolizes a place of knowledge to portray teacher-students relationship and how the learning they have gained from their teacher made an impact to their sense of justice and free speech. So, what do you think is the writer's purpose in writing this iconic movie scene? Well, there may be more than one. Probably, the writer wants the audience to realize the greatness of a teacher who inspires his student and makes a difference in their lives. Also second, the writer would like to tell the audience that it is okay to stand up for what you believe is right. These two purposes can be claimed as subtext of the film. Subtext is an underlying message, theme, or metaphor being conveyed through the dialogues, images, background music, or even the whole film itself. These are not directly stated, but rather realized by the audience as they appraise the characterizations, the settings, and the story plots. In your ADMs, there is a story entitled The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Try to read and understand the content. Charlie, being a wallflower, is complimented in the setting of the story, in the classroom, at their home, and at the social gathering. These settings heighten the visual and emotional impacts of the movie scenes. And as the story plot unfolds, you see a dynamic change of Charlie as his character develops. Note that the plot, as a series of events that form the story, is the framework that binds the other story elements. Through the plot, characterization of the characters, progress with the story setting providing the needed support to bring out what the writer wants to convey. Remember, while the film is viewed because of its entertainment value, the author also intends to make the audience ponder on substantial realizations. One could be to let the viewers look at the perspective of someone who experiences struggles. That, like Charlie, has internal conflicts characterizing him as a wallflower. That there may be reasons why a person becomes introverted, such as having a troublesome past. Second is to show that being in high school can be difficult for people like Charlie. However, with the support of friends and teachers, then high school life can be bearable. For you to understand the purpose of the writer, you need to evaluate the characterizations of the characters, such as the emotions they portray and delivery of their dialogues. Through characterization, the writer let you discover the personality of the characters and why it matters in the plot of the story. You also consider the settings, including the physical setup, time of the events, and the musical background played, as this cements the mood and tone of scenes. Lastly, the plot provides you with the storyline that gives you the overall picture of the story. These are all for today, dear students. See you in our next lesson. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Keep safe, everyone.